This story really hurts me to my heart. A beautiful soul. She was not protected at all. She filed a restraining order October 5th. October 5th. And here it is, November. He shouldn't have been let out of jail. I really feel that the judge here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, they failed her. He already had restraining orders against him out of town from other women. He shouldn't have even been out of jail. It's all who you know. You family got money, somebody got a little pool, you get a slap on the wrist. And this young lady has lost her life and left her family here in pain because nothing was done. It's not enough sometimes. These women are not being protected.
And what's even worse is that this man had 6 out-of-state protective orders already. Stacy went to the police to file a complaint. She filed a domestic complaint. He was put in jail, but he bonded out with $2,500. At what point is enough enough? 6 domestic protective orders against him from out of state. Why was he out of jail? Why was he on the streets?
Would have thought with the history that Steven already had, the judge would have gave him hell for it and locked him up and threw away the keys. But guess what? The judge never did. In fact, the judge ended up overlooking all of his prior history and just said, yeah, matter of fact, we just gonna let you post bond for $2,500 and I'm gonna give you a restraining order for you to stay away from Stacy.
Also had 6 other protection orders from women in other states. The police will not save you. An order of protection will not preserve you. You must leave at the first red flag, and I think it's also time that a lot of us accept that we don't need to be dating. We are truly in perilous and wicked times. Black women, you need to learn radical self-love and self-preservation, especially right now. Rest in peace to Stacy Charles, aged 23.
Not one time did they say anything about this. Black men, I watched 10 clips. 10 clips. 10 clips from these Keishas talking about the situation, and not one time did they mention these tweets from her. And if they really cared about black women, this would have been part of their message. The message would have been stop, looking at Brad, Hector, or anything other than black men. Stop looking at them like they're saviors or they're perfect or, there's nothing wrong with them just because they're a Brad or a Hector. Vet them also. See if they have any felonies. Do them like you do these black males. See if they have any felonies, if they have any baby mothers, if they have any violent history. Do that to them. It might save your life. Do that. Not out of all those clips I watched, not one of them said, hey, this right here is problematic. Not one of them said, send a Brad my way. Look, she said, send a Brad my way. It is not problematic. She didn't say send a Brad my way that's family oriented, that has goals, ambition, not a criminal. Just send any Brad. Do what any Brad, doesn't matter. Because this is her. She really want N-words to leave her alone. And this right here is problematic in itself. I would love to live like a white person in New Orleans to make the city look so not dirty. First of all, is it? Is it? I know. I know. If, I hear people say, and from New Orleans. I say New Orleans. Some people say New Orleans, but I heard the people that live, they say New Orleans. New Orleans. Not even New Orleans. New Orleans. but still, this is crazy. This is crazy right here. This is crazy. Because we see this happen so many times. We see this happen so many times, right? And in these instances where you got a Brad who does something to a Keisha, right? What ends up happening is you notice that in the background, in the past, they have tweets up saying things like this. They don't want no N-words. They're tired of dealing with the color. We saw that. And then after that, you see them deal with a Brad, and the Brad sends them to the upper room, and the police does nothing about it. The system does nothing about it. How many times do we hear the last time, and not the last time it happened, the last time it went viral. And you know what's funny? This is not even viral. This right here is not viral. This is not viral. I had to find those clips. They're clips out there, but when you look at the views on those clips, 100, 200, 300, maybe 1,000. This is not viral. The last viral situation that we saw was her. Oh, by the way, this is the bottom part of that tweet. I was looking at the video and noticed that you couldn't see the button. This is the bottom part of that. Remember her right here? Lauren Smith Fields. Look at the videos that's put up. Look at the titles. Influencer who dissed black men ends up gone because she went out on a Bumble date with this Brad right here. And what happened? What happened when her family went to the precinct? They said they're not looking at him as a suspect because, quote, he seems nice. That's an actual quote from them. He seems nice. If these Keishas really cared about each other, if they really cared about one another, if they cared about their well-being, if they cared about their safety, they would talk about this. Okay, you don't want to deal with us? Cool. You have your own preference? Fine. You don't want to deal with, black men no more? That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Black men are doing their own thing anyway. They're not thinking about y'all. They just moving on. But if you're going to date outside of your race, if you want to, go out and find a Brad or a Hector or whatever, vet him. Vet him. See what's going on with him. This is what black men have been saying to their family members. This is what black men have been saying to their family members with this mindset. Oh, yeah, you got plenty of black men who have family members with this mindset that'll openly say things out like that in front of their brothers, in front of their male cousins, in front of their fathers. And their fathers, brothers, cousins would tell them, hey, listen, if that's what you about, cool. Just make sure you're not out there accepting any and anyone to take you on these tizzy tours, because these guys are crazy. It's not black men that is problematic to you the way you think it is. It's not. See, the difference with black men or black males, let me change that, black males, if anything happens to them, right, there's no the police responding about whoever was a suspect. The police not saying, oh, he seems nice, that's the reason why we're not looking at him as a suspect. They're going to go in that precinct and they're going to find out, yeah, we booked him. He's charged with this and this and that. His court date is in such and such. And that's it. He's going down. He's going down. But when it comes to these Brads, Brad understands the system. He understands the system. He understands it. And one thing Brad understands is that he's the prize to these Keishas. He's the prize. You don't think these Brads see these tweets that these Keishas put up? Oh, they all in the tweet, they all in the comment section, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, they all in the comment section saying, yeah, get with us. We know how to treat you right. We're better. We this, we that, we this, we that. And they don't even take the time to find out if what Brad is talking about is right in his act. They don't check. They don't care. They don't find out anything about him. They don't find out. They don't, question his family. They don't ask his friends. They real FBI when it comes to us. They really, how they say they're FBI, when it comes to black men, if they want to find anything out, black women become FBI. They become, special investigators. They become, private eyes. They become one of those. That's always been a joke, right? How come it's not like that with these Brads? How come it's not like this? How come you're not like FBI agents with these Brads? How come you're not trying to find out anything about their background or anything? Oh, you're back to a regular citizen when it comes to Brad. You don't know anything because it don't matter. It don't matter. And the problem with that is Brad is out here doing y'all greasy because he know you're not going to check. He know that you're just in it for him because of what he looks like. He knows that. He knows he's the prize. The Brad worship is doing these Keishas greasy. The Brad worship is doing these Keishas greasy. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how diabolical Brad is, right? And what's crazy about these stories before I end this video, what's crazy about these stories? Who bring these stories out? Who's bringing these stories out? What Keisha's, it was black men. Black men. Remember the Keisha that went, I think she went to Mexico, didn't come back. Her friends was under suspicion for sending her to the upper room. It was black men that brung that, who was doing the stories back and forth. Even with this situation right here, it was black men out on the front line for Lawrence Smith Fields, right? Saying there's some justice need to be done, right? And this story with Stacy Charles, it's not viral, not yet. But when it becomes viral, it's going to be black men again on the front line. It's going to be black men again on the front line. Saying there's something that needs to be done. Let me tell you how diabolical Brad is, right? in a couple of those videos, those clips that I played, you know what Brad said? He said, "Rest in peace, Stephen." This is Brad. Timeline of "Rest in peace, Stephen." In a couple of those videos. Let me tell you, you know, like I said, we don't advocate for violence on anybody. I tell brothers just to step off. I tell brothers to go your own way. You know, we're not pookies. You know, we're non-violent over here. We're not pookies. We're not destructive. We are productive black men. And as productive black men, I tell productive black men to keep it moving. You done enough. They constantly telling you they don't want you. They constantly disrespecting you. They constantly saying you're not enough. You don't make enough. You don't have enough. You're broke, this and this and that. But Brad comes through with nothing. Nothing. She said, just send a Brad her way. That's it. That's it. And none of those Keishas said anything about it. That's what I was looking for videos to see if any of them say, black women, you got to stop just choosing a dude straight off of of his color, of you got to stop doing that. You got to just stop chasing these brads and not vetting them. You ain't see none of that. None of that. Because they didn't want to lose they don't want to lose their audience. If they do that, they lose their audience. Because whoever their audience is, it's Keisha's. The audience is going to look at it as, oh, you're trying to scare them and not dealing with brads, instead of looking at it as, start vetting these brads. No, they're not going to say anything about it. That's what's crazy. That's what's crazy, black men. They didn't say anything about it. And if they really cared about them, I'm serious. If they really cared about them, they would have mentioned that. They would have said, this is problematic. Don't be doing this. This can end badly. Don't just be saying send anybody.